John continues and says, "And the woman brought forth a son," emphatically a male. It's referring to the Lord Jesus Christ. Who, so this son, Jesus Christ, is on the point of shepherding, or taking care of, protecting, as the office of a shepherd who takes care of his flock of sheep. So the woman brought forth the son, the male son, and he is now in the point of shepherding all the nations, every group of people without reference to their background, within the sphere of action of an iron rod, a staff for training, or a scepter of authority and office. Of course, this one is made in iron or of iron, referring to the fact that his scepter, his iron rod, is strong and will not be damaged, and it won't be bribed or twisted from performing its correct function. And her child was caught away, snatched, and carried away suddenly towards God and towards his throne. The Lord Jesus Christ indeed is now seated at the right-hand side of God on God's throne. For other details on that, of course, you could look at Acts chapter 1 verse 9 and Revelation chapter 3 verse 21, which we looked at previously. And the woman fled. So in this context, referring only to the members of God's people who are descendants of Israel, Jacob, the Judeans. So the woman fled. At this time, we are looking at the future event as indicated in verse 14 below, which we will read. The woman herself is put into flight away from the dragon and his followers, into a desolate place or a wilderness, where she has in that area a place. She has a location having been prepared. It has already been made ready for her by God. Why? For the purpose and result that there they may nourish her. People from other nations at this time will sustain and feed her. For how long? For 1,260 days. And that is, of course, the 42 months or 3.5 years, which we looked at previously in Revelation chapter 11, verses 2 and 3. This is referring to the ending 3.5 years just prior to Jesus Christ returning on earth. Continuing in verse 7 of chapter 12 of Revelation, John is continuing to look at what he is seeing in heaven. And war came to pass within heaven. Now it did not happen on the earth. The war that John is talking about came to pass in heaven. This battle occurred during the 40-day period between the resurrection by God of the Lord Jesus Christ and the ascension of the Lord Jesus Christ into heaven, when God placed him at his right-hand side, being second in command to God himself. John writes the details of this war that took place in heaven. Michael and his angels. Michael is the archangel. He's the first, the highest, the chief. He is the ruling angel. So Michael and his angels went for the purpose of having a war with. So Michael came to cause a battle against who? The dragon. And the dragon warred and his angels. They fought back against Michael and his angels. And the dragon was not strong. He did not have inherent strength. He did not prevail, nor was their place yet found in heaven. The dragon and his angels did not still have a location for them to be present within the heaven. Their ability to disrupt God's and the Lord Jesus Christ's realm in heaven is no longer available to them. And the dragon, emphatically and specifically the great dragon, the snake, you see, that's another name for the dragon. And of course the name snake or serpent is used to describe his activities, his attitude. You know, snakes were known to be thoughtful, sensible, and intellectual. They were very perceptive in their activities. So the dragon, that great dragon, the snake, emphatically and specifically the old snake. You know, if you remember Genesis chapter 3, the devil was also referred to as the snake in Genesis chapter 3. That's why he's called the old snake. He is in existence since that time, being or acting as a snake in that capacity against God. So the dragon, that great dragon, the snake, that old snake, was thrown out or cast. The one who is presently being called, here are some other names. He is presently being called devil. Okay, so here's another name to describe his activities. Of course, the word devil is the Greek word diabolos, which means to throw and through. So as though going right through people, stabbing a person from outside, inside, and out the other side, completely or thoroughly, intending to mislead people away from the only true God. So the devil is what he's also called, and Satan. Satan is another name, and Satan is the word that emphasizes his adversarial attributes, going against and being in total opposition to the only true God. And he is the one who is presently causing the whole inhabited area to wander. He's making the entire dwelled-in part of the earth, the world that mankind lives in, to wander away from the only true God, to err, not to stay in their rightful place. He was thrown into the earth, and his angels with him were thrown into the earth.